What's up, everybody? One Fun Guy podcast live in the studio tonight, guys. One half of the pod cult. So tonight, guys, I did a thing, right? I met Kelly for dinner. So my other half of the pod cult that we met here on TikTok, we finally got to meet in person. We are somewhat local to each other, and we said, what the hell, we're going to do it. So tonight, guys, is not going to be a very long live. I just wanted to do it to come on and say, hey, I have my podcast tomorrow with Beth. She's going to be on at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. She likes doing them in the mornings, just it's easier for her schedule. Beth goes by Brain Damage Beth here on TikTok. She is awesome. She's a cancer survivor. She had brain cancer. She had it removed. So she tells us about her story and her journey, and it's super awesome. And again, I met Beth on TikTok, so it was super cool. We were able to have some fun and come together. So if you're on, just say hi. If you like the video, I appreciate it, guys. Like I say before, don't spend your money on me. The background is super light. So Detellup's up. Family Guy's on, Gently Moving joined, Ollie's on, so it's a good night, guys, right? I had a great night. Kelly was super awesome. He's everything I thought it was going to be. We were friends on here. We met in real life. It was just a cool experience. We clicked like we knew we were going to. It was awesome. So if you're on, like I said, just say, hey, hop in. If you're hanging out with me, I'm not going to be on live tonight super long, but I'm just kind of making the rounds of TikTok, so I wanted to come on. My main podcast, the One Fun Guy podcast, I will be live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time with Beth. And then I'll be on tomorrow night with Kelly. We'll do the pod cult. We got a good show coming up. We basically decided as friends, right, that we were going to be somewhat more of to get notoriety and to entertain and make people laugh and smile. And if we got famous, that would be like a byproduct of us having fun talking about music and hard rock and heavy metal and concerts and shows and bands and influences and everything else, right? So we just kind of chuckled and said, well, we're new. We know we have to start from scratch. We have to get the ball rolling. We have to build up momentum. We have to build up followers. We have to do all this stuff, right? But in the meantime, we were just going to have fun with it. We were going to enjoy our time together. We were going to enjoy our time live, and we were just going to go with it, right? That was like the big thing that we were focused on tonight, was like, if we happen to get picked up by somebody, or somebody invited us onto our podcast and we got uber famous, and that would be a byproduct of us just having fun, talking about the things we want to talk about, enjoying the things we want to enjoy, right? Which is what I do with the One Fun Guy podcast, right? All of my guests have meant something to me. They've all been special in their own right. Obviously, it's a fun thing I like to do. I like chatting with people. I like talking with people. I like meeting new people. So it's easy for me to do that. But it's just a great platform that I'm on and that I get to really be a part of this. And then with Kelly, we just clicked on the music thing, right? We had a lot in common musically. We had a lot in common personally. We had a lot in common, and we just met. And tonight was great. It was just like the icing on the cake that we knew was going to be perfect, and it was. We were just two peas in a pod. We liked each other's company. We liked hanging out. We had a good burger at a place called Kuma's, which is local to the Chicagoland area. It's a hard rock, heavy metal burger joint, and they basically name all their burgers after hard rock and heavy metal bands. So it was awesome, right? So he had the High on Fire, and I had the Clutch. So it was great. It was just a perfect night, right? We just hung out. We just two guys, talking shop, talking music, talking what we want to do, what our dreams and aspirations are with this. And we kind of have the same mindset, right? I started the One Fun Guy podcast back in January, so I am new to the podcasting game. So if you guys think that this has been something that I've been doing for years and years and years, I will be the first one to tell you it has not. My journey started January 24th of 24, right? So 1/24/24 is when I first went live. So this is all new, right? In January of 25, I will have hit my 1 year of podcasting. So I am not a expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I've gotten better. I've gotten more comfortable. My shows are more fun. And I'm just kind of excited to do it, guys, right? When I go live, I always have a smile on my face. I get entertainment out of this, personal satisfaction, and my guests get the satisfaction through me. So it is a win-win. That's why I love doing it, and I don't want to stop anytime soon. I am really, really happy that this is going on. I love, everybody's support and encouragement and kind words. So I know Ollie's been liking the show. That's awesome. You're amazing. But again, to everybody who's on, everybody who pops on and says hi and likes, I appreciate it, guys. It really means the world to me, right? It means everything that you guys are here and you're doing this with me, right? And that's the biggest thing for me, right? That I have the support of you guys to be able to do this, because it's motivation for me to want to do the best show that I can. And like I said, everything else is secondary, guys, right? If I get famous or I get popular or I get notoriety, you guys are my originals, right? You're my OGs, right? And I always say that. I will never forget you guys, right? Out of the 5,000 followers that I have here on TikTok now, if I got to 25, 30, 45, 50, if it took off, right? You guys are my first, right? You guys are my friends. You guys like these. Everything that I do on my lives lives on my YouTube channel. You can go over there. It's One Fun Guy Podcast on YouTube and see everything I've ever done. All of my TikToks, all of my Facebooks, all of my YouTubes. Every video I've ever done, including this one, will go on YouTube. So you guys can see in the comments that you are the base of you guys are the foundation of this, right? It's not me. If I was just here in front of a camera and I had nobody on liking my videos, sending me support, sending me encouragement, sending me all the likes and the shares and everything else, I wouldn't do it. It would be like me talking into a mirror. But because I have you guys and I have this support and I have this awesome thing that I have going, it makes me really, really, really want to put my best effort forward. And I hope that I do that every single time. When I go live, when I just chat with you guys, when I make videos, when I create content, I kind of want to do the best that I can, right? I just don't want to, be mediocre. I want to give it my all. And I hope that you guys are happy with the finished product, because it's me, guys. This is genuine. This is me. This is how I am off the camera. This is no different, right? I don't do anything different here other than hit the plus and the go live. And this is me. This is how I would talk if you were in front of me. This is how I would talk if we were on the phone. This is how I would talk if we would FaceTime. This is how I talk if we would, be live on Instagram. This is me, guys. And like I said, this is my studio. This is my setup. This is my go-to, right? So I'm the same person here than I am in real life. There's no different. You guys are seeing me talk. You guys see my enthusiasm. You see my smile. You see everything, and this is me. This is real. This is me being me, and I can't do it any other way, right? I'm this person off the camera, in front of the camera, and I'm not going to say that I don't have bad days, right, or things don't upset me, but I'm real, and when I come live, it's me live, right? And I'm just enthusiastic. I like being here with you guys. I like sharing this experience. I love everything about it, and I can't thank you guys enough. So if you guys are on and you want to hop on with me, you're more than welcome. Just know that this stuff lives on YouTube, so if you want to be a part of this, you can, but these videos do go over on YouTube, so if you don't mind that, hop on with me, say hi. We can talk pretty much about anything. Obviously, I'm one half of the Pod Cult, which is my other podcast, which I'm pretty much into music and life and things like that on that podcast. The One Fun Guy Podcast is a conversation style podcast I have with my guests. So whatever they want to talk about is what we talk about. So for example, tomorrow, I mentioned it before, Brain Damage Beth here on TikTok is going to be my guest. We're going to do it live through StreamYard via Facebook, and that video will go on YouTube. But Beth is a cancer survivor, and I met her on a live. She hopped onto my live one time, and we were talking about my podcast with somebody else. And she said, "Hey, do you do a podcast?" I said, "Of course, that's why I'm here." And she said, "I'd love to be a guest." And I was like, "What's your story?" And she went and told me her story through the live. I was on for about 2.5 hours, and for the last hour of our live, we basically talked about her, overcoming brain cancer, her being a cancer survivor, the struggles of life and everything she's went through. And it was such a great story. I'm like, let's plan this out and let's do a podcast. And we did. And it was awesome, right? So everything that we had done together, that we had planned out and we had accomplished on our first podcast was great. And she was such just a ray of sunshine, right? And like a ball of positive energy. And you would think that somebody who's basically been through everything that she's been through, it would have been kind of like the idea of her almost kind of like, woe is me, right? Like, feel sorry for me, do this. And she was not like that at all. It was the most amazing experience I had talking to somebody, because she was like, this is me. This is, my life. And she was so positive in the way she did things, right? In the way she approached life. And I just couldn't get over that. I was like, what an amazing person, right? All of this negative stuff that had happened in her life, from the cancer to the treatments to the chemo to the surgeries, and she's like such a positive person, and she's like, it could have happened to anybody, but it happened to me. And she told me her story. So now we had such a good time the first time around. She's coming back tomorrow to tell us what happened. She had another incident. She had been rushed to the hospital. I didn't know. And it's kind of cool, right? Because when I was live with her the first time, her mom reached out to me and thanked me for having her on. And I'm like, it's not me. Like, it was my pleasure. I wouldn't have had it any other way, right? And she was like, no, it meant a lot to us. It meant a lot to our family that she could share her story. And I was like, it meant the world to me more. Trust me. It was more for me to have her on than it was for me to do all this. So then I had her mom messaging me, and then, one of her friends, started sharing the show, and it was just a great experience. And now it's like, we know each other, but we don't know each other, right? It's a really cool concept that, like, I know all about her cancer, her treatments, and everything like that. And we've never met. We've just talked and done our podcast. And it's funny because, like, now I feel like I know her family as well, right? Her mom reached out to me, and her friends have reached out to me. And so it's just a cool connection that you can make with somebody that, you're involved in somebody else's life. And I met them on a live. Beth was on one of my lives a few months back, and we just got to talking, and that turned into messaging each other on TikTok. Then we exchanged numbers, and now she's just a friend that's part of the thing. So if you guys haven't seen it, I posted it on all my other social medias, but I will do it here real quick. If you haven't seen it, this is Beth. So she sent me this picture with the LOL, and it's just kind of, I'm like, you got to tell me the backstory. She's like, I will on the show, right? So obviously she's been through a lot of traumatic experiences in her life, right? It's not an easy thing to overcome. It's been an uphill battle for her, and it's still going to be for the rest of her life. But just her positivity and energy, it's like heartwarming to me that, like, somebody that's gone through such adversity and all these struggles and pain can come out with a positive attitude and joke about it and laugh about it and tell her story. And to me, that's unbelievable. That means more to me than anything, right? And like I said before, even if I did get famous and rich and all the other stuff, that's all secondary to me just having fun, talking to people that I would have never talked to if I didn't have my podcast and I didn't have this world of social media, right? And that to me means more than anything, than any fortune and fame that could ever come with it, right? So I'm just happy being me, doing this for you guys, and you guys being a part of this for me. To me, that is more than anything that I could ever imagine that it would have been into, and anything more that I could have ever asked for. So for me, it's a definite win. Now, like I said before, if I got the notoriety, right, and I got the fame and I got the fortunes and everything else that came with it, that would be awesome, right? But I would definitely remember you guys, and I would remember where I came from. I would remember my base. I would remember all these shows that I've done. And throughout the course of these months and hopefully years that I'm doing this, I get better and I get bigger and I get, the world to see me. That's what I want, right? And like I said, everything else is a byproduct of me doing the podcast, right? So if I did get big and my YouTube channel took off and my Instagram took off and my TikTok took off and I became an influencer and I became, somebody in the world, right? I would never forget where I came from ever. And I would never forget you guys. I would never forget these lives that I do here on a Friday and Saturday night, right? Just talking to you guys, because this would be me. I wouldn't change anything, right? If anything happened major to me, right, in this little kind of universe that we're in, right, I would still be me, right? I would still come live. I would still do all the things I do. I would still chat with you guys. I would still interact with you guys. I would still send messages and like your videos and share your stuff, just like I'm doing now. Nothing would change. And that's kind of the cool thing for me, is that I started this from the ground up, right? With no help at all. It was just me. I figured everything out myself. So if it ever got to the point where it was something that could be, bigger than this, it would be awesome, but I would never forget where I came from, right? This is my roots. These are my nights, right? These are fun. So having one or two or three people on doesn't affect me, right? Because my show is going to go to YouTube and it's going to be seen by everybody else. And then when you guys are on YouTube, you could see all your comments and everything that's going on. So for me, it's fun, right? This is kind of the cool thing that I was able to start, like I said, doing myself, right? It was my project and my ambition and my drive. So like I said, my YouTube channel is like my journal, right? It's kind of like my own personal, story of where I started and where I'm hopefully going to end up and be, right? And that's kind of the cool thing, is that I could look back and say, hey, I remember video 1, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, right? I'm at 34 now. It'll be 35 tomorrow, or wait. It's either 33 and 34 tomorrow or 34, 35 tomorrow. But either way, I never thought that in less than a year I'd have 35 episodes of a podcast, right? That can be seen basically by the world, because I'm all over here. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube, right? So I never thought that it would even get past a few episodes, right? So this is awesome for me, right? So all the little victories that I've encountered in this time that I'm doing this has been awesome, right? So for me, it's been super successful, and I like the fact that I'm able to do that and say, hey, this is something that I was able to do, that I was able to create on my own, and that I was able to share out to the world and basically say, hey, this is me. Hopefully you guys like what I'm doing, and kind of go from there. So for me, it's been great. I loved every minute of it. I love every minute of it. I wouldn't change it for anything. And I'm basically just super happy that I'm able to do it, and that this is, kind of my thing, but it's not just my thing, right? It's our thing, right? It's everybody's thing. Everybody who's been a part of this, everybody who's been on my lives, who's commented, who's liked my stuff, who's shared my stuff. It's all of our stuff. It's not just mine. I'm the person who, has the live going on right now, but everybody who's on is a part of this, right? Everybody who's commented, who's liked my video tonight, you guys are all part of this experience too, right? So like I said, this video is going to go on YouTube and you can see all the comments. I don't edit anything out, right? I keep the show as it is in its pretty much infancy, right? So I'm here for you guys. I love the interaction. I like everything that we do together, but it's not just my show, it's our show, right? And I do it for you. Hey Sylvia, what's up? So like I said, it's our thing now, right? It's our show, it's our podcast, it's my guest. I share all my stories with you guys, so I'm just doing it for me, right? And doing it for me means doing it for you, and putting in the work, putting in the effort, putting in everything that I do to make it successful is all pretty much for you guys, right? And that's what I love about it, right? I love the fact that I can do this for myself, but I can do it for you. And like I said before, right, Sylvia, you guys are all part of the One Fun Guy podcast family. This is it, right? It's you guys are an extension of me, and you guys are an extension of my podcast, and I would not have it any other way, right? And like I said before, you guys are my OGs, right? This is my foundation. You guys are my base. So when I'm on episode 235 or 435 or 735, I can look back and say, these were the people that started this. They helped me. They shared my stuff. They liked my videos. They commented. Like, I will never forget this. And I've said that on my lives before, and I will continue to say that. And I probably will never stop saying that, right? Because even if I grow and grow and grow and grow, and 5,000 turns into 10 to 15 to 20 to 25, all of the people that have all been a part of this will never be forgotten, right? And I can look back and say, these were the people that helped me, supported me, right, to get where I'm at. And I will bring you guys along this journey, right? I will never unfollow anybody. I will never block anybody. I will never go back on anybody. I will never use people's words against them. This is all positive energy into the universe, and I love the positivity that you guys bring into my lives. I love the positivity that you guys bring into my world. I love the positivity that you bring into my life. So this is me, like I said before, guys. What you see in front of you is what you see. If you were to meet me in real life, I'm the same guy. I would not change a thing, right? I'd have the same positive energy. I'd have the same topic, matter. We would discuss things about life and the world, and, everything would be about you guys. If I ever met you guys in person, right, I would want to know everything about you. Me would be secondary, right? I wouldn't even consider, talking about myself until I got to know you guys, right? And that's how I am on my podcast, right? So that's what I do. This is how I am. I want to know about my guests, their experiences, their life, right? I'm secondary, right? All I am is a person who says, hey, share your story with me, right? And through me, your story is told. So you guys are the outlet. I'm just the connector, right? Like, I don't do anything, right? I'm just here to go live to share other people's stories with you. And by default, you guys get to know me, right? You get to see my face. You get to see my podcast. You get to see everything that I've done in the meantime. But I'm just a conductor of the energy, right? Like, the main focus of my podcast is my guest, right? They're the source. They're the story. They're the life. They're what's important. I'm just a person in a chair talking to them. So I'm not that important when I'm live with somebody else. They are the focal point, right? It's all about them. It's all about their story, their successes, their hardships, their life, right? I'm just the person that's saying, hey, share your story with who's ever watching, right? Which hopefully one day is a giant, vast audience, and it goes from there, right? And that's what I love. And that's why I like being able to, do this stuff, right? When I come live, that's what my goal is, right? To interact with you guys, see what's going on in your life. If there's anything you want to talk about, Sylvia always brings up wrestling, right? We're wrestling fans. So, she'll always say, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? Which is awesome, right? Because it's something that we have a connection on, right? We can talk about that kind of stuff, right? So that's just kind of fun, right? When I'm on with other people and we talk about music, or I'm on with other people and we talk about movies or sports or whatever it is. But it's just a well-rounded conversation, right? Me and Penny, let's get into some weird, bizarre topics, right? And I found her one day, her and her sister, and I think another friend of them, they were talking about witches, right? And witchcraft. And I don't know why I hopped on. I just wanted to hear what they were saying. And we stayed on and we started talking. And then I missed 90% of their live. I was only on for about the last maybe 3 or 4 minutes of their live. But it intrigued me enough to say, hey, listen, what were you guys talking about? And they're like, oh, we were talking about the spirit world. And we were talking about, doing all this stuff. And I was like, well, I don't really know anything about that. I like horror movies and I like ghost stories and I like, so fill me in. And they did. So they brought me into their reality. And then me and Penniless went on one night. And I'm like, pick up where you left off. Tell me all about it. And we're like, where did we leave off? And I was like, I don't know. You were talking about lighting candles and doing something or whatever. She's like, oh yeah, we were doing, this or whatever. And they were trying to summon a spirit or something like that, or something into like the afterlife, or like they were trying to bring, something back or whatever. But as we just started talking, I was like, well, now you've caught my attention, right? And I'm not a witch, right? I don't believe in witchcraft or sorcery, but it's intriguing enough to me to want to find out about it, right? I'm like, tell me what it's about. Explain to me what you have going on in your world. And she did. And she's like, this is, what we practice. We're kind of pagan. We don't believe in a God. We kind of believe in many gods, and we believe in the spirit world, and we believe in, and I was like, is it like, kind of like, the Wizard of Oz, right? Are you a good witch or a bad witch? And she kind of chuckled and she said, I don't know what the difference is. I guess it depends on the person, right? Their perspective of it. And I said, well, if you're trying to connect with the afterworld and you're trying to get some advice and you're trying to get some, some positivity, and you're trying to get some outlook, and you're trying to get some, what should I do in this situation? I would say that's a good witch, right? You're asking for help in the spirit world, right? So whether you believe in whatever you believe in, but if you're using that to hurt somebody, right? If you're tapping into that realm to basically bring harm to somebody, then I would say, well, then you're probably a bad witch, right? And she was like, I don't do that, right? I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to. She's like, I was just looking for some guidance and trying to seek, some assistance from, the afterworld. And I said, well, that would be a good witch, right? That would be something positive, right? You want to better yourself, and you want the help of some spirit that maybe you knew, or somebody that you missed, or somebody that you once helped you out. I'm like, that's pretty cool to me, right? I pray, right? And I believe in angels, and I believe, in help. And, sometimes, you get that little push, right? And you kind of, you're like, oh, what was that? And it was like, maybe that was the spirit, right? That was somebody trying to help you. That might have been your guardian angel, or somebody who was just watching out for you. So I was like, that's cool, right? But I would never want to, go to that point, right? And so 5K, you are now on the FYP. You're the best. Thank you. I appreciate that. But again, that's just kind of like when you meet somebody, right? And you interact with somebody, and you do something with somebody, right? Like, that's a cool experience that you have, right? That is a really do something with somebody, right? Like, that's a cool experience that you have, right? That is a really cool thing that you're able to engage and hear somebody else's story, right? And like I said, I don't know you have, right? That is a really cool thing that you're able to engage and hear somebody else's story, right? And like I said, I don't know anything about witches or witchcraft or sorcery or anything like that. Like, I've seen it in movies, right? I've watched The Craft. I've seen The Witch. I've seen, I don't know how many witch stories I've seen, and the Warlock, right? That was the male witch, right? I saw that. And it was just kind of a cool type of thing. But she was like, no, I don't summon for bad. I like summon for good. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool, right? That would be the equivalent of maybe like, somebody saying a prayer, or somebody, hoping that, something good would turn out, or, hey, I need some help right now. And I'm a little short here, and maybe somebody can help me, right? So you reach out to different things in different worlds. And I thought that was super cool. So we became friends, right? So me and Penniless now we chat all the time, and we try to connect and go live together and stuff like that. We got in trouble a few weeks ago, right? I was off a TikTok for a few days because we talked about some stuff that wasn't, I guess, deemed appropriate by whoever was watching us. But anyways, lesson learned, right? We had a good time. We were live for a few hours. We got to know each other, and we had a bunch of other people. I think there were 5 or 6 of us at that point, and we just had a good conversation, and it led into some things that we talked about that I guess were taboo, that we shouldn't have talked about. And we paid the price, but we're back now, right? We kind of got it going, and we know what to do and what not to do. But it was just fun. It was interesting to learn about somebody else and learn about somebody else's life and learn about somebody else's, position on things and what they do and what they have happen, right? So that was super cool for me. And I love doing that, right, with you guys, right? I love hearing about your stories. What did you do today? What happened in your kids' lives? What happens in your spouse's life? What happened in your personal life, right? What did you do today? I went to work. I did this. I did this. Guess what? This happened, right? That excites me, right? Just hearing, my friends and their happiness puts a smile on my face, right? And I want the best for people in this world, right? I don't want anybody to struggle or anybody to hurt or anybody to suffer, right? That's not me. I want the best things to happen to my friends. I want them to succeed in life. I want them to live the best life possible. And as you get older, you start to, reclamate, it's just one of those things, right? Where it's like, life is short. When you look at from the time you're born to where you're at now to what you have left, right? It's just kind of a freaky thing, right? Because you realize like time is now important, right? And everything else that you thought was important when you were a teenager and in your 20s and in your 30s, right? That changes when you're in your 40s and your 50s. And, all of that monetary stuff kind of goes away because no matter how much of it you have, there's one thing you can never buy and you can never sell, and that's time, right? So time is what's important. What you put into the universe is what's important. What you put towards your friends, right? Wishing them well, saying thank you, saying how have you been? How are things, right? That's what's important, right? It's the personal relationships that you built with the people that you that you have in your life. And that's the thing, right? Because if you had no money at all, or you had $75 million, it wouldn't change you, right? It would change the things you do, but I would think that your attitude and your aptitude towards your friends in your life wouldn't change that much, right? I don't think it would affect me that much, right? I would probably dish a ton of it out, right? If I won the lottery, I always say I would help out my friends. I would make their life as best as I could make it, and help them out, right? Because when I was struggling, those were the people that were there for me, right? They were the ones that would check in on me, ask me how I'm doing, if I needed anything, right? And I try to be the best person that I could be and do that for my friends as well. But again, it doesn't matter how much money you have to do that, right? You can check in with a friend. It doesn't cost you anything, right? It's just time, right? And if you had a couple seconds to say, hey, how are you doing? Shoot them that text message, shoot them that email, make that 5-minute phone call, right? It could really change the outlook of somebody's day, week, month, or even year, right? Because you don't know, you could call them at their darkest, deepest time, right? And just them hearing your voice and them saying, I appreciate you checking in on me, can change the trajectory of their future, and you might not even know, which was one moment of time. That didn't cost you a single cent, right? It didn't cost you a penny to do that, right? And the amount of positivity you put in the world comes back to you, right? Like, I believe in positivity. I believe in positive thought. I believe in saying affirmations, right? Like, I want to do that, right? And you have to look at it from that standpoint, right? That if you put it into the universe, that's what you want to have happen. That's what you want to be, you want that energy to be positive. And there's some people that want it to be negative, right? And that's their prerogative. If that's what they want, if they always look at life being, half empty, the glass is always half empty, life is out to get them, they don't, no matter what they do, they can never get ahead. They can never make things happen. That's how they want to think. That's fine, but it's not me, right? I'm glass is half full. Life is great. Being alive is fantastic. Living every day is phenomenal. Every day you wake up is a new day, right? It's a brand new start. And that's the way I approach life every day, right? You can't change yesterday. You can't plan for tomorrow. You have to live in the now. And that's all you can do, right? So the decisions you make in that moment can affect somebody positively or negatively for the rest of their life, and you might not even know it. So I'm always trying to be positive, right? putting in positive affirmations into the world, right? I want my friends to be happy. I want to be happy. I want my friends to succeed. I want to succeed. I want my friends to have an amazing life. I want to have an amazing life. I want my friends to travel and see the world. I want to travel and see the world. I want to do things with people. I want them to do things with me. And it's all about what you put into the universe. And I'm trying my best to put in every single positive ounce of energy I have in my body into the universe, right? I want to be there for people. I want to listen to people. I want to help people. That's what I want to do, right? And there's some people that don't want that, which is fine. You live your life. I'm one person out of, I mean, how many billions of people live on this earth, right? 3 billion, somewhere like that, right? Or 8 billion maybe even now. I think it might be more than that, right? But I'm one person in the universe, right? And we don't know what's out there. We speculate, we imagine, but if I could put something positive in the world, I am going to do that, right? I don't want to be negative. And of course, we all have bad days, and we all feel that way, right? That we could just wish today never happened, right? We just could wish it could all go away. We could wish that thing we did this morning, we should have changed it, right? But you can't. You can't relive it, right? So you either have to learn from your mistakes and move forward and say, hey, it was a learning experience, and move on, or you can dwell, right? And I don't dwell. I am not a dweller, right? If I make a mistake and I mess up and I'm like, shit, right? Like I shouldn't have done that. I can't change it, right? I did it. So I could learn from it, and I could say, listen, that was a bonehead thing I did. I'm going to try to never do that again, right? At least you did it, you learned from it, and you moved on. And I think a lot of people don't live that way, right? They live in the negative, and I that's not me. I can't do that. So my podcast is positive. I try to be positive. I try to make my friends positive. I try to just put all the stuff that I can into the universe, positivity, and move from there. And that's kind of what I want to do, right? Like I want to make this life as enjoyable as I can. I want to live the most. I want to see the most amount of things that I can. I want to try the foods. I want to do everything, right? I don't want to look back and say, I wish I could have done that, or I should have done that, or I really should have made more time. I should have made more effort. I don't want to do that. So I make the time and I make the effort now, right? So looking into the future, I could say, listen, I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do, and everything that I thought was good. And I don't have any regrets, right? That I don't look back and say, I should have done that, or I should have done that. I try to do it. Now, obviously, you're only one person, so you can't make plans to do one thing with somebody on the same day and time as somebody else, right? Unless the other person is okay with that. So, of course, you have to plan somewhat. But at least if you put yourself out there and you say, hey, listen, I'm going to be there for that person. I'm going to make time for that person. That's what I try to do every day, right? So if you need me, get a hold of me as best you can. Obviously, sometimes I can't get to the phone. I try to respond to my messages here, text messages, emails, stuff like that in a timely manner. But again, I just try to make every day count. That's my goal, right? Is to go to bed every day at the end of the night and say, wow, I accomplished this, and this today. I'm happy with that, right? So going live tonight, right? I was thinking on the way home, maybe I won't go live. Maybe I'll just wait till tomorrow. And I'm like, no, I told some people I was going to go live. I think I'm going to go live. And then I contemplated it again before dinner. I was like, well, maybe I could just, post some pictures of me and Kelly having dinner. That would be enough. And then I'm like, nope, I really want to go live. This is what I need to do. So it's just, of course, right? I could have made the decision to say, hey, I'm just going to wait for tomorrow. I have my podcast tomorrow morning. I'll post some videos. I'll do my podcast tomorrow night with Kelly on here, and that would be good, right? But it just wasn't good for me, right? It wasn't good enough for me. I said, nope, I'm going to go live tonight. I said I was going to do that. I'm going to do that. So that's what I did. So here I am now, right? For the last, 40 minutes or 45 minutes, I've been, talking with you guys, right? Saying hi, saying hey. I know Sylvia and Ollie had shared my show and liked it. I love you guys for that, right? You guys are amazing. I appreciate that. I know Ellie sent me a message, says, hey, I just got you on the FYP. I kind of don't really know what that means, but I'm sure it's something cool, right? I think when you get a certain number of likes in your videos and stuff, you share it out. But like, to me, that's special, right? Like that right there was worth me going live, right? And again, I say this all the time. I appreciate the gifts. I really do, guys. But don't spend your money on me, honestly. Like, I have enough money. I don't need that. Save your hard-earned money for friends that want to be in that TikTok universe, right? Spend the money on them, right? That they're trying to accomplish something, right? Whether they want to get into the next ranking or they want to move into the next group, right? I don't need it. I appreciate it, guys. I always do, right? But you don't have to spend your money on me. I say that all the time. Save your money and support somebody who really, really needs it or really, really wants it. I am happy with likes and shares, guys. That means the world to me, right? I don't need to come on here and say, you have to spend an X amount of dollars with me to be in my live, or if you're not sending me gifts, I'm going to block you, right? I don't need it, right? I appreciate it 1,000%, but I don't need it. I know you did, Sylvia. And again, I appreciate it. I truly do. But you don't have to spend your money on me, right? It's just something where, times are tough for a lot of people right now. And every, dollar counts to what you're trying to do. You don't need to drop it on me, right? If you're going to spend your money with me, that's great. But I'd rather have you spend it on somebody who wants to do that, that's trying to build their group or trying to build their brand or trying to build their influences. That's not me. You coming on here, commenting, liking, and sharing my video and supporting my podcast is worth more than any dollar you could ever spend on me. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love the fact that you guys do spend money on me. It's great, but you don't have to, guys. It's not a requirement. I'm here for likes, shares, and follows, and that's kind of what, I'm there, right? So I appreciate that, but time spent with you and time talking to you and time getting to know you is more than any dollar could ever go. So honestly, I'm a phone call away, I'm a text message away, I'm an email away, I'm a TikTok or Instagram message away. So that to me is more valuable than anything you could spend. And I mean that, guys, truly, for everybody watching, right? I love the fact that you guys like my videos and you share my videos and you basically, support my podcast. That's worth more than any dollar amount you could ever spend on me. And I truly mean that, guys, right? I want my podcast to be successful. I want my friendships to be genuine. I want the people that I meet here to truly know that they're appreciated and that I'm here for them and that, you guys have always been here for me. And I can't ever change that, right? And that's what I love about doing this. And I wouldn't change that for the world. And that's obviously what motivates me to keep going, right? Because I'm happy with the way my podcast has turned out, right? So if I said 2024 is going to be my last year and I'm not going to do it in 2025, I would be totally content with everything that I've accomplished. But it's the interpersonal relationships that keep me going, right? It's your love and support and all the encouragement when I say I'm trying to hit, 300 subscribers on YouTube, or I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers on YouTube, or I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And all the messages come in that you can do it. Don't stop. We got you. You're going to make it. That's motivation for me to do it, right? And there's some nights where I just want to say, I'm tired, I want to go to bed. I don't want to do this, right? And there's other times where I'm like, I know people that I told that I'm going to go live are going to want to see me live and they're going to depend on me going live. And I don't want to ruin that, right? I don't want to be that guy that says, hey, tomorrow night I'm going to go live. And then at the last minute be like, oh, I'm not going to go live, right? I don't want to do that. Like, I want this to be a friendly, interactive thing. And that's what motivates me to do it, right? And again, I could go live for 5 minutes. I can go live for 5 hours. To me, it doesn't matter, right? I can keep talking and talking and talking. I'm like the Energizer bunny of conversation, right? I don't need to stop. I can keep going. But I just like the interaction, right? I like you guys chatting with me. I like getting to know you. I like the way the conversations go. I like you guys commenting and being part of this. And to me, that means the world to me, right? That you guys are here to support me in something as minuscule as a podcast that I'm trying to make successful, right? So for me, that's awesome. And I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I truly do. I love the fact that you guys are here with me, that you're willing to be on with me, that you're willing to comment. And like I said, if you guys want to hop on with me, you're more than welcome to, right? Just send me an invite. Say, hey, I want to be on your show. I'll send you the invite. You can hop on with me. I have no problem with that. Most of you guys know all my stuff goes on YouTube, right? So this video, Every other live I've ever done on TikTok has gone on YouTube. So just be cognizant of that, right? If you guys hop on with me and you don't want to be seen, just turn the camera off and your little picture will pop up. I'm fine with that, right? The algorithm doesn't matter, right? So if you guys want to hop on with me and you don't want your face to be seen, just turn the camera off. I'm totally cool with that. It'd just be like having a phone call, right? It's like a conversation. So you guys are more than welcome to hop on with me. I always say that. You never have to beg me to come on with me. I'm always, I just leave that out into the universe that you guys are always welcome to join me at any given time. If you want to come on with me and you have something to say, if there's a gripe, if you want my opinion on something, you just want to talk to me, I'm totally cool with that, right? And I always have been and I always will be, right? I'll never block anybody or deny anybody that's coming on. There have been times where I've had more than, the amount of people that I could have on the screen at one time. That would be the only time that I would say that I can't get you on, right? I'm trying, but I can't do it. But other than that, if it's just me or somebody else and people want to come on and have a conversation, like that's awesome, right? And I love that. I look forward to that, right? So anybody who wants to pop on can. I don't, again, I have no, regulations other than the fact that you be respectful and you be cordial. Other than that, don't be mean, right? And don't be mean towards the people in my group. Don't be mean towards the people who are on. If they make a comment that you're not happy with, just move on, right? I don't like when people start arguing in the comment sections. It happens a few times. I tried to nip that in the bud right away, right? I'm not a big fan of that. Be positive, be happy, be mindful, be respectful. That's all I ask for, guys. You do that, you hop on with me, we talk about anything, right? It's the same with the people in my group, the same with the people on my live, the same with the thing. Just be respectful and be mindful. That's really all I ask, guys. And everybody has been. I have not had a single person on my live other than the ones that did not speak English. I couldn't understand them. I didn't know what they were saying. But I've never had anybody be mean or disrespectful on my live, and I really appreciate that. And it goes a long way with me, right? So that happens a lot. So with that being said, guys, if there's anything that you guys want to know or ask me about my podcast, tomorrow I go live with Beth. That'll be at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. She's Brain Damage Beth here on TikTok, so look her up. I will link her stuff tonight. But it's just really cool, guys. She's a super, super fun person. She's gone through a lot of adversity and tragedy in her life, and she comes out with a great attitude. Brain cancer has not stopped her. The surgeries have not stopped her. The cancer has not stopped her. She's an amazing person. She's a fighter, and she is funny as can be, right? So she always makes me laugh, puts a smile on my face. She's got great stories to tell, and I love every second of it. And she's honest with me, right? She's like, bear with me, because sometimes you might ask me something and I'll forget. I'm like, I have all day. You take as much time as you need. I'll repeat the question 5 times if you need me to. I am here for you. And she's super awesome. She's super friendly. And she's got a great story to tell. And I love her attitude on life, right? Because some people at that point would just throw in the towel and say, I'm ready to go, right? She said, I'm going to stay, I'm going to fight, I'm going to get through it, I'm going to do the surgeries, I'm going to do the chemo, I'm going to do everything I need to do to stay on this planet, and she's done that with a great attitude, and I couldn't be happier to have her on as a guest. Again, she'll be, the second time will be tomorrow, so this will be her second episode, and I told her, I said, I am going to do a check-in with you once a month. You will be a recurring guest on my podcast. Every month, I'm going to check in with you. One episode is going to be dedicated to you and what you got going on in your life. And just to be an inspiration to somebody who might be watching it that either might be going through the same thing or have a friend or family member going through the same thing. She is just a ray of sunshine in this bleak world. And I love every ounce of her energy, her spirit, her person. She is fantastic. And I'm excited to have her on as a guest tomorrow. I'm going to have her again in October, in November, December. We're going to keep going. She's going to keep telling her story, keep telling her journey. And she just puts a ton of positivity into the world. And I love that about her. And I'm so happy I met her on this to be able to do that. So everybody who's been on tonight, who's liked the show, who shared the show, who's interacted with me, guys, I love you all. I appreciate it. I am going to especially shout out Sylvia and Ali. You guys are amazing. You guys are my rocks in this thing. You guys are an amazing support network, and I'm glad that you guys are in my life. I could not be happier with the way it is. I know Jen stopped in. Jen's awesome too. She's the one with the ghost in the heart. She's been interactive with me a lot. And it goes a long way, guys. I love the fact that you are here for me, that you're part of what I'm doing, that you support me in this little dream that I have of being a podcaster and a successful one at that. I could not do it without you guys. And again, I love every bit of this, guys. It means the world to me that you guys are here to support me and share my stuff. I like I said, I'll never forget you guys. You guys are my rock. You guys are my base. Everybody who's been a part of this. There's so many names I could mention, off the top of my head, that I would thank. But you guys know who you are, right? You guys know who are the foundation of this, that have been on my podcast as a guest, that have supported my guests, that have supported me. You know who you are. I know who you are. And it's a great relationship that we have. And I'm happy, so happy that you guys are in my life and that you're a part of my podcast and you're a part of this, right? This experience that we're going through together, right? Because that's what it is, right? My podcasting is experience. I don't know what's going to happen next. Neither do you, but we're in it together. And that's the greatest thing, right? That we could share this with each other and that we actually could take the time to be in each other's lives and help each other out, and that we're here for each other, that we support each other, that we have this crazy TikTok universe that we network through, that we've come across each other, and our paths have crossed in this universe for a reason, right? And if we weren't meant to connect, we wouldn't have connected. And I think that pretty much everybody that I've connected with, I think the universe was telling me to do that, right? Reach out to that person, respond to that message, say hi to this person, right? It's just the way it goes, right? If you don't know, you try. If you don't try, you don't know, right? So it's kind of that circle of life, and I'm glad that you guys are a part of it. I really am. So thank you guys for everything. Again, tomorrow I have Brain Damage Beth is going to be my guest on my podcast at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So obviously, if you're not there for the live, don't worry about it. That video will be posted on YouTube later on. And then tonight here, me and Kelly will be on with the Pod Cult. That's my secondary podcast with him. He's who I met for dinner tonight. All those pictures will be posted, so it'll be awesome. I'm super excited to have you guys be a part of this, and everything that you've done for me, guys, has been awesome. So I will be on tomorrow twice. I'll post some pictures, I'll post some stuff of what happened tonight, and we will basically go from there. So with that being said, guys, I want to thank everybody for being a part of my live tonight. Everybody who liked, commented, and shared. I appreciate it, guys. I love you all. Thank you again for the continued love and support. I am the One Fun Guy podcast. I'm going to be hopping off now, but you will see me tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening, and then maybe even Sunday morning again. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how the night goes, see where it takes us. I'm super excited, but thank you guys again for all the love and support. I am the One Fun Guy podcast. Thank you for being part of my universe. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys tomorrow.